Are you ready to tackle the pantry chaos? Well, today we're going to dive into decluttering, organizing, and bringing some order to my deep pantry. And in addition, we're also going to take a look at this top shelf, the dreaded top shelf, which is where I tend to place seasonal items and then anything else I can't figure out what to do with. Let's get it started. All right, homelings, so as you can see, this pantry is a hot mess. And this is my working pantry, which means I'm in and out of here all the time, putting things in, taking things out, and I am not the only one. So right now things are definitely at 6s and 7s, otherwise known as a hot mess. And what I'm going to do is to take everything out, wipe down the shelves, and then we'll get things organized in a way that makes it work not only for me but also for the people that share this space with me. And then part 2 will be me taking down these seasonal items off the shelf. There are things up there that I use seasonally or plan to use seasonally, and there's probably a few things I haven't used for a couple of years. So I'll be decluttering some of those things as well. So step number 1 is to remove everything from the pantry area and assess what's inside. And I take the items out shelf by shelf. And for the most part, they're already grouped by categories because that's the way I try to store them in the cabinet. But if not, I'll get them grouped according to categories on the counter. And as I pull these things out, I'll also be checking for expiration dates, consolidating any duplicates, and setting aside anything that doesn't belong on this pantry or that's already expired or past the best buy date. And step number 2 is to wipe down the shelves. So once I brush them out or vacuum them out, I'm going to wipe them down with a little bay oil and water. And whereas I think the bay oil has a lovely scent, bugs don't like it. And step number 3 is to organize with containers and zones. This video is brought to you by Aprondiva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. You can see I've got this huge jar of rice in there. Alphabet pasta for soup, wild rice, sugar. Some of these jars look like they need wiping down, and then you can see all the oatmeal I've got. I had got one of those really double-sized bags of oats at Costco. So I sorted them out into these 3 jars. Pasta, sage, So as you can see, I am running out of places to put things while I work on spaces in the pantry. And these were things that were on that other side that I have to figure out, these utensils. But I'm going to do that last because I'm going to just be able to sit down and go through those. So these are some things that go on the other side. And this is another jar of those lids and things. So I can do that in a bit. And so all of this and all of this back here, they were on that top shelf. So what I'm going to do is get that top shelf cleaned off, and then I'll get it wiped down with some bay oil. And I always like to do the bay oil because it just kind of helps to keep bugs at bay. They don't like the smell of it. And then I'll drop some bay leaves on it. You saw me dropping bay leaves when I wiped down the other side. I'll do the same thing over here. Now, one of the things I like to do is to wipe this cabinet down with a little bit of bay oil. So I just put a couple drops in some warm water. Give it a little swirl. And this is kind of some kind of corrugated wood shelf. I don't know what it is, but I just kind of dab. I just dab, dab, dab all over. And the bay oil smells so good. So it's smelling pretty good in here, but I'm going to let it dry for a second. So while that's drying, I'm going to look at the jars and things that I've already got pulled out. Some of those jars need wiped off, and then some of them either need refilled or just put elsewhere. So the jars that are empty, I decided to go ahead and wash out. And then the ones that are not empty but are going back in the pantry, I'm going to wipe down. Now these jars that are not empty, I am just going to wipe down with the bay oil water and put them back in there. And I've been working on this area long enough that the shelf ought to be dry, so I can get these back in there. And I'll make sure to put the things that I use most often in the front, and the things least often in the back or way over to the side. Penne pasta. Extra long grain rice. Now I've got a jar of oatmeal on the counter that I'm using from, so these three can go at the very back over to the left. So one of the tips on organizing things is to put things where they're going to be most accessible when you actually need them. Sugar and flour I reach for more often, so I put them there. And this penne pasta can go in front of the oats because there's other jars of oats that are visible. You know what? There's only about a half a cup of this extra long grain rice, so I'll cook it today to go with the beans we're going to have. Now let's get these out. In the space behind here, I've got some canning lids and things like that. And then these boxes of lids with bands. And more lemon balm. Now these baskets, I keep different things in. Popcorn and oatmeal, those kind of things I keep in here. As well as a few canning lids, it looks like. They don't need to be in there. And then my coffee filters. I use these coffee filters more to strain my grease than I do to strain coffee. Yeah, I use these coffee filters more to strain my grease than I do to make coffee. And then I've got some Sure Gel and some Jello and those kind of things in here, as well as the straw. So that one is fine. This one I keep canned soup in right here in the working pantry, so we can get to it pretty quickly. That one is fine. And this one says boxed foods. So bag of long grain rice, Hush Puppies, Apple Crisp, but just boxes of things that I may want to make from time to time. Quinoa, onion, soup mix, and then stovetop dressing, more onion soup mix. And we do use a lot of the Jiffy corn muffin mix. I will make my own cornbread when I'm making stuffing and things like that. But we really like the Jiffy corn muffin mix, so I use that. And they had it on sale during the holiday season, so I picked up a few extra boxes. So these can go back in. They were pretty quick. And these are the baskets that were on the bottom shelf. So these baskets here are a hot mess because I got groceries recently and just kind of threw things in there. Why this is in here, I don't know. Now these baskets I keep boxed foods and different things like that in as well. And I keep the bay leaves in here as well, but it's time for me to refresh those. So I like to put a few at the bottom, and you know we have Taco Tuesday every Tuesday, so I always like to keep taco shells, and I like to stand and stuff. And then we're having a big Taco Tuesday night coming up with family here, so I got this big box for that. It won't fit in here, but let's just see. And then I have some boxes of this mac and cheese, but this is going on my prep shelf. This is not what I normally would make. So let's get that out of there. Got a lot of this 90-second rice, which we enjoy. Spice packets, different things like that go in here, so. Let's refresh the bay leaves. Love these. Bunch of dried fruit in here, and we use it for different things, but we don't use it a lot. And this one I pretty much keep my bags in. So I've got these shelves here all done. Now I need to tackle that shelf up there. And that's the dreaded top shelf. And one of the things that I realized is I store things up there that are seasonal or things that I don't use often, but I haven't decided whether or not I want to donate them. But that stops today. I'm going to get everything down. Then I'm going to see what exactly I want to keep and what can be donated, and then what really needs to live up there. And this is something I know that I want to keep, so it can be up there. I don't use it right now, as I showed you earlier, for flour, sugar, and rice, but I might decide that I want to do that, and I don't want to have to replace these canisters. So I'll get all these goodies down, and then we'll get it sorted out. I'll get several things down at once, so I don't have to keep walking up and down the ladder. Birthday gift. Well, believe it or not, all of these things and some of those things back there were up on that shelf up there, the dreaded top shelf. And that's where I keep a lot of my seasonal items, things I might use only at holiday time or when I'm entertaining. And a lot of these things I haven't used the last few holiday seasons, and so they're going to have to go. One of the things that will go up there will be this, because I do want to keep these false craft canisters. I might decide to switch out the mason jars on the counter and go back to using these, so I don't want to have to buy those again. And I don't even know if I can buy those again, so I want to put those back up there. I do want to keep this. This was my mom's, and I think it might have been her mom's. And it's just like a little thing I use for like vintage decorating here in the kitchen. But there's a lot of stuff in here that I only use seasonally, like these little cupcake stands. I might use this one to put a small cupcake on my dessert table, or sometimes I might use it, let's say I want to elevate this snowman. I might put him on that, and I think I might just leave it there right now since I don't have any other use for it at this particular time. These plates here I tend to use at picnic time when we take picnics, and I've got the luncheon plates to go with them. But I haven't used these in about the last 2 or 3 years, and I'm thinking if we go on picnics anytime soon, I'm going to buy some disposable plates to take with me. And in our picnic basket, we've got some other plates that we use from time to time. So I think I'm going to donate these to one of my relatives who could use a set of dishes. And then these are the plates that go with my everyday set. So, and I do use these every day, but I've got 5 of this size up here in the pantry. And then I've got 5 of the dinner plate size here in the pantry. So I've got 4 of the luncheon set in here, because I didn't need 9 of them up there, nor did I have room for them. So they're going to probably stay up there. And then I've got this bowl here, which is like a little soup tureen. And I have only used it a few times. I think I used it on my counter once to put coffee pods in it. And lately it's been up there, but I could put it on this dish here and put gravy or some other dish inside it, and it would look nice. I tend to use this white set here when I'm doing YouTube videos and I'm plating something up and I need it to look pretty. I'll tend to get these out. So I probably should keep them for that reason. But one thing about them, oh, and I've got a set of bowls that go along with them, little cereal bowls or soup bowls. And again, I can sit the soup bowl in the center or whatever. But one thing about this particular set, even though it says microwave safe, when you put it in the microwave, the plate does heat up. It gets hot, so you need a hot pad or something like that to carry it over to the table. But we do use those quite a bit. It's one of the sets we use. And then in here, I've got a sugar bowl, and I like sugar bowls. So I've collected several sugar bowls, and I don't have any sugar bowls out right now. Well, yes, I do. One like white, kind of a farmhouse one, but I tend to collect sugar bowls, so we'll see what I do with that. And there's a creamer that goes along with it. I like to have sugar and creamer sets. I think they're just pretty, and they're just so feminine and just so elegant. I bought this rooster from the lady next door when they were downsizing their house. And my husband was like, look, don't be buying stuff that they're trying to get rid of and junking up our house. But I do put it out on the counter in the spring and summer, so I do use it. So I won't bore you with every single thing that's in here, but I will see what's what. Oh, now these are some cake stands that I do use at holiday time. And I can use them like this as a tier, put cupcakes or different things on them. I can use them independently. Back here I've got some ice trays that I will put either bouillon balls or tomato paste, different things like that in there, freeze them, and then put them in freezer bags, or I might freeze herbs in these little ice cube sizes. So these will definitely be staying. And then this set here is one of those sets you set up at holiday time. I haven't used it in I don't know how long. And I don't know when I'll be having those kind of parties again. So my daughter might want some of that. So I will see if she wants any of this stuff that I plan to donate. And then of course my little Scotty, I've had him for years and he usually sits on the counter over there. But since I had to move my KitchenAid and a few other things over there, I don't have room for him. So he'll go back up there for now. So I need to get up there and then wipe that shelf down with a little bay oil and water so that it's smelling lovely and also insect repellent. And then I'll figure out what's going to go up there. So I already know that this is not going to go back up there. I'm going to give this away. I'm going to donate this. And so I'm going to just set this basket over by the wall and then see what are the things I might want to put in it. And when I donate it, I'm going to donate basket and all. So these are little ramekin dishes, and sometimes I'll make little desserts in them. So I do want to keep these. I have a set of 4 or 6. So let me set this here. Now this is a butter dish, and I can use this at holiday time when I want to put butter on the table. So I'll keep this. So I'm going to set it over here. And then I can use these things here to wrap it back up. Spring decor. Measuring bowls. I may give those to a soror. These I'm keeping, but I do use these plates. Okay. Mini ramekins, I think I'm going to keep those. This candy dish was my mom's, so I do want to keep it. Well, we already know this doesn't go up there, so I can put it in the sink and wash it, and then it can go where it needs to go. This is the only sugar bowl set that's up there, so I'm keeping it. And I'm keeping this. So, doesn't look like I'm parting with anything now, does it? There's 5 of those bowls and 6 plates. right, Scotty's going to go back up there in the corner, and he'll stay there until next Christmas. And I'll just start putting these things, back on the shelf. Now this, I don't need. This Corningware dish is vintage. Vintage. I got it as a wedding gift, and I do use it from time to time, particularly when I'm having large crowds over. So I'll be keeping that, but this, for me, don't need it. These little mini ramekins are nice to put like little desserts in, and I have used them for that from time to time. So I'm not going to get rid of stuff just because I'm not using it now, but it doesn't mean that I won't. Salt and pepper shakers for fall and Thanksgiving. So, okay. I already see that much of this is let's see. I do want to keep this because when I switch out my trays either in the bathroom or if I switch out the tray over there or decide to put one over there, this is the size that I like, and I like it. So keeping these. So I guess I'll get started, and the first thing I'll get started with is these and get these put back up on the shelf. So let's do that. Here's the thing about pantry organization. It's going to get ugly before it gets better. So one of the things that I try to do is just work on one half of the pantry at a time. I'll take everything out on one side, get that all cleaned out, and then things put back. And then the next day, I'll work on the other side. Now you might say, why don't you just go ahead and get it all done at once? And the problem for me is that one, it can be a little overwhelming, and two, it is very time consuming. And there are things that I do need to do to get done in my kitchen other than just sorting out the pantry. So I will usually take 2 days and sometimes 3 days if I'm working on that dreaded top shelf to get that done. The other thing is that you do need to have the right tools to organize your pantry. And one of those tools for me is this canning rack. It allows me to organize my cans not only according to the different types of foods that are on it, but also in a way that fits into this deep pantry so that I can get access to them. The other tools that have proved invaluable are the corner shelves, which allow me to take advantage of awkward spaces in my deep pantry. And the tier shelves allow me to organize things in a way that I can see from front to back what's on that shelf. And then another really important item when it comes to your pantry is labeling. On my baskets, I've labeled what's in those boxes. It'll say soup, or it'll say boxed foods, or storage bags, or something like that, so that my family knows where things belong. And if every now and then things get out of place, I can quickly put things back where they need to be. Now, once your pantry is all sorted out, the next thing you want to do is to make sure it is stocked with the items that you need to prepare healthy, delicious, and filling meals for your family. To learn more about how to do that, check out my 20-item capsule grocery haul or my 7 categories of foods that you need to have in your pantry.